Hello everyone, this is part 2. This is actually part 3, not 2, of my EOE story, so eosinophilic esophagitis. Last time on the video I left off of that it was my birthday and I was having, all these different, smoothies and soups and ice cream, and how I was consuming so much dairy, and just a little bit about my experience and the scopes that I was having. And so now this is part 2 of a continuation of it, but just to see when I started to get better and progress, and also how did I go through the firefighter training, recruit training, and also work as a career firefighter with EOE. And I continued to train, I got healthier, and I just want to share that experience with you and what I did to combat that. So like I said in my last video, the night that I actually found out that I was becoming a career firefighter and I got that job offer, I was actually in the emergency with a food impaction because of that little peach we call Peachy was stuck in my throat for I don't even know how many hours. We think it might have been like 18 hours. That's kind of the number that I'm thinking. And it was a scary experience, and not the end of the world. I wasn't choking at that point. It just was stuck and a little painful. But what did I do from there? So when I started firefighting, like I said, I have had zero solid food at this point, and I am down to 168 pounds from 215, and here I am starting fire recruit training. So this was a hard experience, and I owe so much of my success to it to my wife, Chelsea, who is studying her master's actually in nutrition and is almost done. So she has so many brilliant ideas, and maybe I'll throw a link to her blog actually in this channel. That would be wicked to check out. And so basically how I survived was we created our own smoothies and soups, but the problem is that the soups actually had to be pureed. I had to have, they had to be so finely mixed, because any sort of like little, and I mean like little chunks of anything, those would kind of get stuck in the throat. And it's not like I would be choking at the time. It would just be really uncomfortable, because I'd even try to be swallowing this soup and it just wasn't really going down super well. So you don't really experience that until you've gone through it. You don't really fully know what it's like. And so at this point, again, I lost 47 pounds and was doing a lot of the training. I was trying to get, I think my calories for my shakes were easily, like 800 to 1,000 calories per shake. They were just loaded with fats. We were, at the start, we were actually doing a lot of whey protein. We were throwing Greek yogurt in there, we'd throw in milk in there, and a lot of that stuff, right? So it was easy to get those calories in, but it wasn't very sustainable, wasn't really super healthy. And like I said in my last video, it actually made the problem worse, because my body it does not react well with dairy. And I think that's a big part of why it actually is causing the inflammation in my esophagus. And so I will definitely be making videos in the future about what soups that we actually made and the smoothies that we actually made. And I actually still make these smoothies to this day. I've tweaked them a lot, and they're all natural ingredients and really healthy, and I find that they give a lot more sustainable energy when you're having them, because a lot of the whey protein powders and stuff that you buy now are just filled with crap. They're filled with fillers, and they don't provide me, I guess, with the sustainable energy and lasting energy that I need. And especially someone who has a high metabolism. I burn through a lot of calories really quick. I'm in the gym constantly, and I'm also working as a career firefighter, which that itself is causing me to burn a lot of calories depending on what kind of calls that I'm on that day. So this was super hard going through fire recruit training at the same time that I'm dealing with this, and at the probably the skinniest that I've been since high school. In high school, that's probably what I weighed, and and almost a decade later, I am weighing the same, which for me is just very unhealthy because my body's set point has changed. Maybe before in high school, being 150, 160 pounds or whatever is my normal weight, but my body normally sits now at around 200 pounds, and at that point in time, I was 215. So I want to go, and I would love to make a video going into a lot more detail about the mental state that I was in during that time. And I was at the lowest point in my life. I've never been so depressed before and so kind of saddened, I guess, by the situation, because it was also a lot to do with misinformation and just not knowing. It was the ignorance of what EOE is actually all about and how to get through it. So I wish there was a lot more content about EOE when I was going through it, and I know it's not a super common thing, but that's why I want to make these videos and just show that, hey, it's not the end of the world that you're going through this. Yes, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, and I want to put this out there too. I was someone who absolutely loved dairy. I love pizza and ice cream so much, and I would have that all the time. But I had to give that up, and I hadn't actually eaten any sort of dairy. Oh, actually, and I love cheese as well. So those three things especially were so hard to give up. But I actually didn't have any dairy for over a year, and that was just one of the sacrifices that I had to make while figuring out the process of what was causing my EOE. And so I want to brighten this whole story up with a funny situation that actually happened during recruit training. So I was very new, I was brand new to the department, and I was just starting. We were going through our weeks of recruit training, and one morning I had a Yeti container, and it was filled with the soup from the night before. I didn't actually end up eating it. I think sometimes my appetite was all over the place because it was very messed up, because all I could have was liquids. And what happened was that when I was leaving out to go to work, I was like, hey, I gotta take this soup and empty it before it kind of stains the inside of my Yeti. I think it was the Yeti Rumbler. I go to twist the top, and it's not coming off, and I just wasn't thinking. It's early in the morning, I'm on a rush, I have to leave for work right then, right? I just couldn't twist this top off, and so I actually ended up putting it on the table. I kind of ended up bashing it a little bit, and what happened was just the pressure that built inside, it absolutely exploded. And this Yeti flew across my whole entire living room, smashed into the kitchen, and I had the biggest soup explosion of my life. I'll throw some pictures up actually. And basically there was soup all over my living room, all over the floor, and we had a rug at the time, a white rug from Costco, and it was just littered with this yellow soup that we had made. And I just stood there and I just did not know what to do. It was all over my firefighter tunic. It was all over my uniform, t-shirts, my study material. I had like books of study material and notes. It was just like caked everywhere with this soup. And so that's kind of my Yeti story. I kind of at that time I had the nickname of Yeti just because I was using the Yeti container and it just absolutely exploded with soup. So it was kind of a funny story. At this point in time, my spirits were a little lifted, a little higher, because I was just starting to learn how to deal with EOE and started to get through it. Yeah, if you liked it, please subscribe to the channel and check me out on Instagram and TikTok if you like as well. But I'll be posting more videos, and I really hope you liked it. I hope you learned something, and I hope that you also have a lot of hope if you're going through EOE right now as well, and just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and the more you know, the better. So educate yourself, and as well, yeah, keep up to date with these videos, and I'm going to be coming up with more. So until next time, we'll see you later.